Most people believe their bodies are failing them after 50. They accept weakness as inevitable. They surrender to the slow decay of muscle, the gradual loss of power, the quiet acceptance that their best physical years are behind them. But what if I told you that this entire belief system is built on a lie? What if the ancient masters knew something about the human body that modern science is only now beginning to understand? Stay until the end of this video. The final insight I'm about to share will fundamentally change how you see your body's potential for the rest of your life. Ancient truth. There's a secret hidden in the mountains of ancient temples, practiced by masters who moved with the strength and grace of men half their age, well into their 70s and 80s. These weren't genetic freaks or superhuman beings. They were ordinary people who understood something profound about the relationship between mind, breath, and physical strength that we've completely forgotten in our modern world. The Western approach to aging treats the body like a machine that inevitably breaks down. We're told that muscle loss is natural, that we lose approximately 1% of our muscle mass every year after 30, that by the time we reach 60 or 70, we're condemned to weakness, frailty, and dependence. But this perspective comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what the body actually is. Your body is not a machine. It's a living, breathing, constantly regenerating system that responds not just to what you do physically, but to how you breathe, how you think, and how you direct your life energy. The ancient masters understood this. They knew that strength doesn't come from muscle alone. It comes from the integration of breath, intention, and movement in a way that actually reverses what we consider to be the natural aging process. I've spent years studying these principles, not just in books or academic settings, but by living them, testing them, and witnessing their profound effects on people who had given up hope of ever feeling strong again. What I'm about to share with you isn't theory. It's a practice that has restored vitality to countless individuals who thought their physical prime was permanently behind them. Hidden foundation. The first thing you must understand is that muscle weakness after 40 isn't primarily about muscle at all. It's about energy circulation. Traditional Chinese medicine and ancient martial arts recognize that the body has energy pathways, meridians that carry life force throughout your entire system. When these pathways become blocked or stagnant, your muscles don't just lose mass, they lose their connection to your vital energy. Think about how you feel when you're deeply stressed, anxious, or emotionally depleted. Your body feels heavy, weak, unresponsive. Now think about moments when you felt truly alive, passionate, connected to your purpose. Your body feels different, doesn't it? Lighter, stronger, more capable. This isn't just psychological, it's physiological. Your emotional and mental state directly impacts your physical strength at the cellular level. Modern fitness completely ignores this connection. We treat strength training like we're programming a robot. Lift this weight, do this many repetitions, follow this schedule, consume this amount of protein. But the body isn't a robot. It's an intelligent, responsive system that's constantly adapting not just to physical stress, but to mental and emotional input. The masters understood that true strength comes from harmony between your breath, your intention, and your movement. They developed practices that didn't just build muscle through external resistance, but awakened the body's internal power source. They knew that if you could learn to direct your life energy consciously, you could maintain and even increase your physical capabilities well into old age. This is why you see elderly martial arts masters who can generate tremendous power with seemingly minimal effort. They're not relying on muscle mass alone. They're accessing something deeper, a connection between consciousness and physical force that most people never develop, regardless of their age. Core practice. The daily habit that can restore your muscle strength like you're 40 again is something I call conscious tension cultivation. It's based on an ancient practice that combines breath control, mental focus, and isometric tension in a way that awakens dormant neural pathways and reactivates your body's natural strength potential. Here's how it works. Every morning, before you do anything else, you're going to spend exactly 7 minutes engaging in this practice. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, 7 minutes. This timing isn't arbitrary. It's based on the natural rhythm of breath and energy circulation that the ancients discovered through centuries of observation and practice. You begin by standing in a natural position, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent. Your spine is straight but not rigid. Your shoulders relaxed but not collapsed. This isn't about perfect posture in the Western sense. It's about finding your natural alignment, the position where your body feels both grounded and ready to move. Close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply through your nose. Not the shallow chest breathing that most people do unconsciously, but deep abdominal breathing that fills your entire torso from bottom to top. As you inhale, imagine you're drawing energy up from the earth through your feet, up through your legs, into your core. As you exhale, imagine this energy spreading throughout your entire body, reaching every cell, every muscle fiber, every organ. After about a minute of this breathing, you're going to begin adding conscious tension. Starting with your feet, you're going to gradually tense every muscle in your body while maintaining that deep, rhythmic breathing. This isn't the aggressive, forced tension of typical strength training. It's controlled, conscious, intentional tension that you build slowly and hold with complete awareness. Begin with your feet. Press them firmly into the ground and tense all the muscles in your feet and ankles. Hold this tension while continuing to breathe deeply. Then add your calves, feeling them contract and engage. Then your thighs, your glutes, your core, your back, your chest, your arms, your hands, your neck, your face, until your entire body is engaged in this state of conscious tension. The key is to build this tension gradually while maintaining perfect breath control. If your breathing becomes strained or erratic, you're trying too hard. The tension should feel controlled, sustainable, even meditative. You're not trying to create maximum force. You're trying to create conscious connection between your mind and every muscle in your body. Hold this full body tension for 30 seconds while breathing deeply and evenly. Then slowly release the tension, starting from your head and working down to your feet while continuing to breathe deeply. Feel the energy and warmth that floods through your body as you release. Rest for 30 seconds, then repeat this cycle. You'll do this 5 times total. 5 cycles of building tension, holding for 30 seconds, and releasing. The entire practice takes exactly 7 minutes, and it will fundamentally change your relationship with your body's strength potential. Deep science. What's happening during this practice goes far beyond what most people understand about muscle development. When you create conscious whole body tension while maintaining controlled breathing, you're activating multiple physiological systems simultaneously in a way that typical exercise never achieves. First, you're engaging what's called reciprocal innervation, the neurological process by which your nervous system learns to coordinate muscle contractions throughout your entire body. Most people, especially as they age, lose this coordination. Their muscles begin to work in isolation rather than as an integrated system. This practice retrains your nervous system to activate your muscles as a unified whole, dramatically increasing your functional strength. Second, you're improving what exercise physiologists call intermuscular coordination, the ability of different muscle groups to work together efficiently. This is why elderly martial arts masters can generate so much power with seemingly little effort. They've trained their bodies to work as one coordinated system rather than a collection of separate parts. Third, and perhaps most importantly, you're training your nervous system's recruitment patterns. As people age, they lose the ability to activate all the muscle fibers within each muscle group. This is called motor unit recruitment, and it's one of the primary reasons people feel weak as they get older. It's not that their muscles have completely disappeared. It's that their nervous system has forgotten how to access them. This conscious tension practice forces your nervous system to recruit muscle fibers that may have been dormant for years. By creating tension throughout your entire body while maintaining breath control, you're sending a signal to your nervous system that all of these muscles are needed, important, and should be maintained. But there's an even deeper level to this practice that connects to what the ancients understood about energy and vitality. When you combine conscious breathing with whole body tension, you're creating what traditional Chinese medicine calls internal alchemy, a transformation of your basic life energy into a more refined, powerful form. Modern science is beginning to understand this process through the study of mitochondria, the energy-producing structures within your cells. When you practice conscious tension with controlled breathing, you're improving mitochondrial function throughout your body. You're literally enhancing your cell's ability to produce energy, which translates directly into improved strength, endurance, and overall vitality. This is why people who practice this consistently often report feeling more energetic throughout the day, sleeping better at night, and experiencing a general sense of physical confidence that they haven't felt in years. They're not just building muscle, they're optimizing their body's fundamental energy production systems. Transformation stories. Let me tell you about David, a 58-year-old man who came to me feeling defeated by his body's apparent betrayal. He had been an athlete in his younger years, played college football, stayed in decent shape through his 30s and 40s. But somewhere in his early 50s, everything seemed to fall apart. His joints ached constantly, he felt weak during activities that used to be effortless, and he was beginning to accept that his best physical years were permanently behind him. David had tried everything: expensive gym memberships, personal trainers, supplements, specialized diets. Nothing seemed to make a lasting difference. He would feel slightly better for a few weeks, then slip back into the same pattern of weakness and fatigue. When he started this practice, he was skeptical. 7 minutes a day seemed too simple, too easy to create real change. But David was desperate enough to try anything, so he committed to the practice for 30 days. The first week, he noticed subtle changes: better sleep, slightly more energy in the mornings. By the second week, he realized he was moving differently. Tasks that had become difficult were feeling easier. By the end of the month, David felt like he had reconnected with a version of himself he thought was gone forever. 6 months later, David was moving with a confidence and strength that surprised everyone around him. He wasn't just physically stronger, he carried himself differently, spoke with more authority, approached challenges with renewed confidence. The practice had awakened something in him that went far beyond muscle strength. It had restored his connection to his own power. Then there's Maria, a 62-year-old woman who had accepted that weakness was simply part of aging gracefully. She had raised 4 children, worked demanding jobs her entire adult life, and felt like she had earned the right to slow down. But slowing down had gradually become weakness, and weakness had become a prison that limited every aspect of her daily life. Maria couldn't lift her grandchildren without feeling strained. She avoided activities she used to enjoy because she worried about her physical limitations. She had developed a subtle but persistent fear of her own body's fragility that was affecting her mental and emotional well-being as much as her physical health. When Maria began this practice, she approached it with the same dedication she had brought to raising her family and building her career. 7 minutes every morning, without exception, regardless of how she felt or what else was happening in her life. She treated it as non-negotiable, essential, sacred time for reconnecting with her body's potential. The changes came gradually but consistently. First, she noticed that daily activities required less effort. Then she realized she was standing taller, moving with more grace and confidence. By the 3-month mark, Maria was not only lifting her grandchildren easily, she was playing actively with them, keeping up with their energy in ways that amazed her adult children. But the most profound change wasn't physical. Maria had rediscovered her sense of personal power. She had remembered that her body wasn't her enemy or a burden to be managed, but an ally that could support her in living fully regardless of her age. This shift in perspective affected every area of her life: her relationships, her career decisions, her willingness to take on new challenges and adventures. Mental mastery. The psychological component of this practice is just as important as the physical component, and it's something that traditional fitness completely overlooks. When you practice conscious tension cultivation, you're not just training your muscles, you're training your mind to take active control of your physical experience. Most people live in a passive relationship with their bodies. They hope their body will feel good, they worry when their body feels bad, but they don't actively participate in creating their physical experience. This practice changes that dynamic completely. It teaches you that you have direct, conscious influence over how your body feels and functions. Every morning when you engage in this practice, you're proving to yourself that you can create strength, energy, and vitality through conscious intention and action. This isn't just positive thinking or wishful hoping. It's direct, tangible evidence that your consciousness can influence your physical reality. This psychological shift has profound implications that extend far beyond the 7 minutes you spend in practice. When you know, through daily experience, that you can consciously influence your body's strength and energy, you begin to approach all of life's challenges with a different mindset. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, aging, or genetic limitations. You start seeing yourself as an active participant in creating your experience. The confidence that comes from this practice is unlike anything you can get from external validation or achievement. It's a deep, unshakable knowing that you have the power to influence your physical reality through conscious intention and action. This confidence affects how you walk into rooms, how you handle stress, how you approach relationships, how you make decisions about your future. People who practice this consistently often report that others begin treating them differently, even though they haven't explicitly mentioned their practice to anyone. They're perceived as more vital, more confident, more capable. This isn't because they're trying to project these qualities. It's because they genuinely feel them at a cellular level. The practice also develops what I call physical intuition, the ability to sense what your body needs and respond appropriately. Most people have lost this connection. They rely on external experts, complicated rules, and rigid systems to tell them how to take care of their bodies. But your body has its own wisdom, its own intelligence, and this practice helps you reconnect with that internal guidance system, energy circulation. Understanding energy circulation is crucial to maximizing the benefits of this practice. The ancient masters recognized that the body has specific pathways through which life energy flows, and that these pathways can become blocked or sluggish, leading to weakness, illness, and premature aging. When you practice conscious tension cultivation, you're not just contracting muscles randomly, you're systematically opening and activating these energy pathways throughout your entire body. The combination of breath, intention, and physical tension creates a pumping action that moves stagnant energy and restores proper circulation. Think of your body like a river system. When a river flows freely, it brings life and vitality to everything along its path. But when a river becomes dammed or polluted, the entire ecosystem suffers. Your body's energy system works the same way. When energy flows freely, every cell, every organ, every system functions at its optimal level. When energy becomes stagnant or blocked, everything begins to deteriorate. The breath is the key to this circulation. When you breathe deeply while creating conscious tension, you're using your breath as a pump to move energy throughout your body. The tension creates pressure and the breath creates flow. Together, they restore circulation to areas that may have been energetically stagnant for years. This is why the practice must be done with deep, conscious breathing. If you create tension without proper breath, you're actually creating more blockages rather than clearing them. The breath transforms the tension from a contractive force into an expansive one. It turns muscular contraction into energetic circulation. Many people notice that they feel energized rather than depleted after this practice, even though they're creating significant muscular tension. This is because they're improving circulation rather than just breaking down muscle tissue. They're awakening dormant energy rather than just burning existing energy. The ancients understood that this type of practice could actually reverse the aging process at an energetic level. They believed that aging was primarily caused by energy stagnation rather than simple wear and tear. By restoring proper energy circulation, they could maintain vitality and strength well into advanced age. Modern science is beginning to validate this understanding through research on circulation, lymphatic drainage, and cellular regeneration. We now know that improving circulation at the cellular level can dramatically enhance the body's ability to repair and regenerate itself. This practice improves circulation not just of blood and lymph, but of what the ancients called life energy, the fundamental force that animates and sustains all living systems. Integration wisdom. The real power of this practice comes not from the 7 minutes you spend doing it, but from how it transforms your relationship with your body throughout the entire day. As you develop the ability to consciously create tension and relaxation, you begin to notice and address physical holding patterns that have been limiting your strength and vitality for years. Most people carry chronic tension in their bodies without realizing it. Tension in their shoulders from stress, tension in their jaw from unexpressed emotions, tension in their core from fear or anxiety. This chronic tension creates energy blockages that limit strength and vitality. But when you develop the ability to consciously create and release tension, you can identify and address these patterns throughout your day. You might notice that you tense your shoulders when you're concentrating at work. Instead of letting this tension accumulate, you can consciously release it while maintaining your focus. You might notice that you hold your breath when you're stressed. Instead of letting this pattern continue, you can consciously return to deep, rhythmic breathing while remaining fully engaged with the stressful situation. This integration of conscious body awareness into daily life is where the real transformation occurs. You're no longer at the mercy of unconscious physical patterns that drain your energy and limit your strength. You become an active participant in maintaining and enhancing your physical vitality throughout every moment of your day. The practice also develops what I call strength reserves, the ability to access additional power when you need it. Most people use only a fraction of their available strength because they've never learned to consciously recruit all their resources. But when you practice conscious tension cultivation, you're training your nervous system to access deeper levels of strength when circumstances require it. This doesn't mean you walk around in a state of constant tension. That would be exhausting and counterproductive. It means you develop the ability to consciously shift between states of relaxation and activation based on what the moment requires. You become like a martial artist who appears completely relaxed until the instant they need to generate tremendous power. This adaptive capacity, the ability to consciously shift your physical state based on circumstances, is one of the most valuable skills you can develop for maintaining strength and vitality as you age. It prevents the gradual decline that comes from remaining in one physical state too long, whether that's chronic tension or chronic weakness. Hidden obstacles. There are several common obstacles that prevent people from experiencing the full benefits of this practice, and understanding these obstacles is crucial for your success. The first obstacle is the belief that strength must come from struggle, pain, and exhaustion. This cultural conditioning runs so deep that many people feel like they're not working hard enough if they're not suffering. But this practice is based on a completely different principle, that true strength comes from harmony, not conflict. When you create conscious tension while maintaining relaxed breathing, you're training your body to generate power without stress, force without strain. This feels different from what most people expect from strength training, and some people mistakenly think it's too easy to be effective. The second obstacle is impatience. In our instant gratification culture, people expect to see dramatic results immediately. But this practice works by gradually retraining your nervous system and restoring energy circulation, processes that take time to unfold. The changes are often subtle at first, and people who are looking for dramatic overnight transformations might give up before the deeper benefits begin to manifest. The third obstacle is inconsistency. Because the practice only takes 7 minutes and doesn't require any equipment or special location, people sometimes treat it as optional or skip it when their schedule gets busy. But consistency is absolutely crucial. The practice works by creating new neural pathways and energy patterns, and this requires daily repetition over time. The fourth obstacle is mental resistance. As you begin to feel stronger and more vital, part of your mind might resist these changes because they challenge your existing identity. If you've accepted weakness as inevitable, sudden strength can feel threatening to your sense of self. This resistance usually manifests as skepticism, finding excuses to skip the practice, or minimizing the results you're experiencing. The fifth obstacle is social conditioning. If the people around you expect you to act your age, accept limitations, and gradually decline, your improvement might challenge their beliefs about aging and possibility. They might consciously or unconsciously try to pull you back into old patterns. Staying committed to your practice requires maintaining your own vision of what's possible, regardless of others' expectations. Understanding these obstacles allows you to navigate them successfully rather than being derailed by them. The practice itself will give you the inner strength to overcome external resistance, but awareness of these common challenges helps you stay committed during the inevitable periods of doubt or difficulty. Advanced principles. As you develop proficiency with the basic practice, there are advanced principles that can deepen and accelerate your results. The first advanced principle is what I call tension gradation, the ability to create different levels of intensity within the same practice session. Instead of creating the same level of tension every day, you learn to vary the intensity based on your body's needs and energy levels. Some days you might create gentle, moderate tension that feels more like a moving meditation. Other days, you might create more intense tension that challenges your limits and awakens deeper strength reserves. This variation prevents your nervous system from adapting and plateauing. It keeps the practice fresh and continuously challenging, ensuring that you continue to develop new levels of strength and coordination over time. The second advanced principle is spatial awareness, the ability to direct your attention to specific areas of your body during the practice. Instead of creating generalized whole-body tension, you learn to emphasize different muscle groups or body regions based on your individual needs and imbalances. If you notice that your upper body feels weaker than your lower body, you might spend extra attention on creating conscious tension in your arms, shoulders, and chest while maintaining the whole body integration. If you notice that your core feels unstable, you might emphasize the deep abdominal and back muscles while maintaining the connection to your extremities. The third advanced principle is emotional integration, using the practice to transform not just physical weakness, but emotional holding patterns that contribute to physical limitation. As you create conscious tension and release, you might notice emotions arising, fear, anger, sadness, or joy. Instead of suppressing these emotions, you learn to breathe through them while maintaining the physical practice. This emotional integration is crucial because most physical limitations have emotional components. Fear makes us contract and weaken. Anger makes us rigid and brittle. Sadness makes us collapse and lose vitality. By consciously working with these emotional patterns during the physical practice, you can transform both your physical and emotional strength simultaneously. The fourth advanced principle is energetic direction, using visualization and intention to direct the energy you're cultivating to specific areas of your body that need healing or strengthening. This isn't just imagination, it's based on the understanding that consciousness can influence physiological processes in measurable ways. If you have a chronic injury or area of weakness, you can consciously direct the energy generated by the practice to that area while maintaining the whole body integration. This focused attention can accelerate healing and restoration in ways that purely physical approaches cannot achieve. Lifestyle integration. The ultimate goal of this practice is not just to spend 7 minutes each morning feeling stronger, but to integrate the principles of conscious strength cultivation into every aspect of your daily life. This integration transforms not just your physical capabilities, but your entire approach to living. The first area of integration is posture and movement throughout your day. As you develop body awareness through the morning practice, you begin to notice how you hold yourself during daily activities. You might realize that you collapse when you're tired, tense up when you're stressed, or move inefficiently during routine tasks. With this awareness, you can begin to apply the principles of conscious tension and relaxation to improve your posture and movement patterns throughout the day. You're not trying to maintain perfect posture constantly. That would be exhausting. Instead, you're developing the ability to notice when you're holding yourself in ways that drain energy and consciously adjust to more efficient and strengthening patterns. The second area of integration is breathing. The deep, rhythmic breathing you practice during the 7-minute session becomes a resource you can access throughout your day. When you notice shallow, anxious breathing, you can consciously return to the deeper pattern. When you need more energy for a challenging task, you can use breath to access your strength reserves. The third area of integration is mental attitude. The confidence and sense of personal power you develop through the practice begins to influence how you approach all of life's challenges. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you approach difficulties with the same conscious intention and steady determination you bring to your morning practice. This mental integration is often the most transformative aspect of the practice. People report feeling more capable in their careers, more confident in their relationships, and more willing to take on challenges they previously would have avoided. The daily experience of consciously creating strength teaches you that you have more control over your experience than you previously believed. The fourth area of integration is decision-making. As you develop the ability to sense what your body needs during the practice, you begin to trust your intuition in other areas of life. You become more skilled at sensing which opportunities will energize you and which will drain you, which relationships support your vitality and which undermine it. This intuitive guidance system becomes increasingly reliable as you develop deeper body awareness through the practice. Your body becomes a source of wisdom rather than just a vehicle for carrying out mental decisions. Scientific validation. While this practice is based on ancient wisdom, modern science is increasingly validating its principles and mechanisms. Research in neuroplasticity has shown that the nervous system remains capable of forming new connections and learning new patterns throughout life, contradicting the old belief that neural development stops in early adulthood. Studies on isometric exercise, which is what conscious tension cultivation essentially is, have demonstrated that this type of training can be as effective as traditional weightlifting for building strength, with additional benefits for neuromuscular coordination and motor unit recruitment. Research on breathing and nervous system function has shown that controlled breathing practices can shift the autonomic nervous system from stress states to recovery states, improving everything from immune function to cellular regeneration. Studies on mind-body practices have demonstrated that conscious attention during physical activity significantly enhances the benefits compared to distracted or unconscious exercise. The mental component of this practice isn't just philosophical, it's scientifically validated as a crucial element for optimal results. Research on aging and muscle function has shown that much of what we consider normal age-related decline is actually the result of disuse and deconditioning rather than inevitable biological deterioration. Studies on elderly individuals who maintain active lifestyles show that significant strength and vitality can be preserved well into advanced age. Perhaps most importantly, research on meditation and consciousness has begun to validate the ancient understanding that mental states directly influence physical reality. Studies using brain imaging technology have shown that different mental practices create measurable changes in brain structure and function, which in turn influence physical capabilities. This scientific validation doesn't diminish the mystery and power of the practice. It confirms that the ancients understood something profound about human potential that we're only now beginning to appreciate through modern research methods. Deeper transformation. As you continue this practice over months and years, it begins to catalyze transformations that go far beyond physical strength. You start to understand that the same principles that restore your body's vitality can be applied to every area of your life that feels stuck, weak, or limited. The practice teaches you that transformation happens through consistent, conscious attention rather than dramatic effort or external intervention. Just as 7 minutes of daily practice can restore decades of lost strength, small, consistent actions in other areas of your life can create profound changes over time. You begin to see patterns in your life where you've accepted limitation unnecessarily, where you've surrendered power that was actually still available to you. The confidence that comes from reclaiming your physical strength gives you the courage to reclaim power in other areas where you've been living smaller than necessary. Many people report that this practice initiates a broader spiritual awakening, a recognition that they are more powerful, more capable, and more in control of their experience than they previously understood. They begin to question other beliefs about limitation and aging that they had accepted as facts. This questioning often leads to dramatic life changes, new careers, new relationships, new adventures that they wouldn't have considered when they felt physically weak and limited. The practice doesn't just restore your body, It restores your sense of possibility for your entire life. The ancient masters understood that physical cultivation was never just about the body. It was about awakening the human being's full potential: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. They knew that a person who has mastered their physical energy has taken the first crucial step toward mastering all aspects of their existence. This is why the practice feels transformative in ways that go far beyond its apparent simplicity. You're not just doing an exercise. You're engaging in a form of inner alchemy that has the power to transform the fundamental quality of your life experience. Final truth. Here's what the fitness industry, the medical establishment, and our entire culture don't want you to understand. Your body's decline is not inevitable. The weakness, fatigue, and limitation you've accepted as natural aging is largely the result of energy stagnation and neural deconditioning, both of which are completely reversible through conscious practice. You have been conditioned to believe that your best years are behind you, that you must gradually surrender your power and vitality, that weakness is the price of getting older. This conditioning serves systems that profit from your dependence and limitation, but it has nothing to do with your actual potential. The ancient masters lived in cultures that revered wisdom and experience, that understood older individuals as repositories of power rather than burden. They developed practices specifically designed to maintain and even increase vitality with age because they understood that true mastery comes through decades of refinement, not youthful enthusiasm alone. 7 minutes each morning, conscious breathing, whole body tension held with relaxed awareness. This simple practice contains the key to reclaiming your birthright of lifelong strength and vitality. It costs nothing, requires no equipment, can be done anywhere, and has the power to transform not just your physical experience, but your entire relationship with what's possible in your life. The choice is yours. You can continue accepting the slow surrender of your power, explaining away your increasing limitations as natural and inevitable. Or you can commit to 7 minutes each morning of consciously reclaiming your strength, vitality, and connection to your body's incredible potential. Your body is waiting for you to remember what it's capable of. Your strength is waiting for you to call it back. Your vitality is waiting for you to stop accepting limitation as inevitable and start practicing the conscious cultivation of your own power. The masters knew that the body is not separate from consciousness, that physical strength and spiritual development are intimately connected, that true power comes from the integration of mind, breath, and intention in conscious practice. This is your invitation to step into that tradition, to reclaim your heritage of lifelong strength and vitality, to prove to yourself and everyone around you that your most powerful years don't have to be behind you. The practice is simple. The commitment is daily. The transformation is profound. Your strongest self is not a memory. It's a possibility that's 7 minutes away.